There are many people who struggle with anxiety, worry, and stress. They go through incredible hardships dealing with all kinds of trauma from the past that then somehow or another shapes what they do and how they live their life. And so many people turn to alcohol, they turn to all kinds of different things to somehow or another alleviate some of that inner pain, some of those struggles they're dealing with. And within them, there is this deep cry to experience reality, experience freedom, to be free. So is there a way we can be free? Well, I would just give you a couple of thoughts on it today that may be helpful. First of all, understand this. Those emotions, those negative emotions, where do they come from? Well, they come from thoughts. They come from thoughts about the future. And within those thoughts, there is an emotion that causes a sense of worry, anxiety, and stress. So it's about something that has not happened. So for example, if I'm talking about being anxious about something, I'm talking about something that has not happened, that I'm concerned about, because I feel it may happen and somehow or another that would be devastating. Understand this. The most of anxiety is rooted in the ego. And when I say the ego, I'm talking about the conceptualized idea that you have about yourself, who you believe yourself to be on a deep level. And one of the greatest fears of the ego is to be diminished. The ego always seeks to enhance itself, to be superior to be better than, to stand out, to be recognized. We love it when people like our post on Facebook. The more likes we have, the better we feel about ourselves. If there are nobody liking what we say, we feel a sense of diminishment. So anxiety and worry and these things stem from thoughts that are connected to an emotion that then makes us feel less. These negative thoughts make us feel less about who we are. And so many people, of course, have been raised with all these expectations of who they should be. They have this plethora of stuff that has happened in their life that has defined them, and they have to either live up to those standards or live down to the expectations that maybe parents had of them. So in the case of people who are spiraling out, people who are involved in all kinds of drugs and everything else, sometimes they live down to what their own inability to see themselves as being able to live free from it. And what I mean by that is that they have an image of themselves, a deeply rooted image of themselves that then manifests in what they do. So how do you move beyond that? Because it's all to do with the concept. It's all to do with your thoughts. In other words, it's like you are lost in your thoughts and are not able to escape those thoughts. It's like those thoughts run your life. You try to get rid of them, and the more you try to get rid of them, the more they are there. And you can't get rid of them. You say, well, I don't know how to get rid of them. So here's what I would suggest would be helpful, is to come to a point of stillness. You see, your truest and deepest self is your spirit. Now, what is your spirit? Your spirit is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is awareness, presence, just simply being aware. It is awareness without thought. So, for example, if I would look out right now and I'm sitting here looking out and I see a beautiful blue sky, I see some nice palm trees in my backyard, if I would just stare at that and just focus on that without any thought, I would just be aware. I wouldn't be thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about the past. I'm not thinking about the future. I'm just aware. I'm conscious. I'm experiencing it as I'm watching it right now. You see, at that moment, I am no longer connected to those negative thoughts that I may have, I am completely free because I am so attuned to what is happening now. My spirit is not bombarded with the mind's attempt to fill it with negativity. No, I'm just aware. I'm present. I'm not living in my head. I'm not living in my thoughts. I'm just aware. So if you want to be free from anxiety, if you want to be free from a lot of these toxic emotions, just take a few moments and you can close your eyes. You can keep your eyes open and simply become aware. Separate yourself from your thoughts. Now you say, well, I have these thoughts, I can't stop them. And just then lean in, observe those thoughts. Look at those thoughts as they were foreign entities, which in some ways they are. Foreign entities to who you are. Just observe those thoughts. And what you will find, the more you observe those thoughts and the more you come into that place of stillness, where you're just aware, where you're just present, you will begin to experience a sense of God. You feel this presence that permeates with love, that permeates with peace, and it brings joy to you. It sets you free. So the more you're able to do that, whether you can only do it for 1 second in the beginning, and then go to 2 seconds or 3 seconds. In fact, you could even just observe your breath. Some people do that. They breathe in and they just focus on the breath. And if you can do that for 1 breath and 2 breaths and 3 breaths, you create a gap between the thoughts, all those negative thoughts, and your awareness, your presence. And in that presence, there's fullness of joy and pleasures forevermore. In that presence, you are free. So my friend, it's quite simple. Just take a few moments and become completely aware. Because at the core, it's who you are. You are consciousness. Everything is just additions. It's programming. It's people's ideas. It's people's thoughts. It's people's biases that now has formed and become part of who you are. It's other people's words against you, perhaps. Maybe someone told you you're stupid or you're not smart, you're not this, that then has now formed into an unconscious self-perception that now controls the way you live. But if you could become completely aware, if you separate yourself from those thoughts for just a few moments by being completely aware, what you will experience, as I said, is this infinite presence, the presence that is in you, that is in all things. As Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. The Father is above all, through all, and in all, Paul said. Christ is all and in all, Paul also said. You begin to experience that, and that brings you incredible freedom.